Alright, so before the NBA season starts, I wanted to go over some of the floors and ceilings I think we're going to see this year, starting with the Atlantic Division. Now, with the Boston Celtics, I think their floor is realistically the playoffs, even the play-in tournament, we could say. They're a pretty injury-prone team in the regular season, but they strap it up come playoff time. And even with their new coach being Joe Mazzulla, we don't know exactly what we're going to see out of that. But I think with their added depth, it's hard to rule them out of the playoffs unless they truly kick into injuries. And their ceiling, they made the finals last year, so I think since they only improved their roster, that their ceiling would realistically be the NBA Finals champions. Hopefully, we don't play the Warriors again, but I think that the Celtics, assuming health is, all good, can make the finals. Now, the Brooklyn Nets are kind of a headache to me because realistically, they're a play-in team at the least when you have Kyrie, KD, and now Ben Simmons, as we just saw, playing basketball. But looking at their roster and even their depth chart just further, you see that they lack a big man, really, besides Nicholas Claxton. And when he's a liability at the free throw line, like we saw in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics, I really think the play-in's the lowest we can put them. I don't think they'll miss the playoffs, assuming that Kyrie, KD, and everyone else stay healthy. But their ceiling is really where I was having a lot of trouble with this, because realistically, I want to put them in the NBA Finals. But then again, the Nets can only go as far as their team wants them to be. We saw Steve Nash last playoffs kind of resist making adjustments, and Ime Udoka capitalized on that. So hopefully Nash can finally find his bag when it comes to actually coaching the team. I really think that the Nets are a conference finals team even, but I assume that they're going to have some playoff success. After last season, that was just a disappointment. I think they're going to come back loaded and ready to go in the Eastern Conference. On the other side of New York, the New York Knicks. I think their floor this year is around 35 wins. Looking at last year where they had 37 wins and things kind of looked awkward to end the season, especially with Julius Randle's play. It looked like he was forcing a lot of things. This is where the Jalen Brunson signing comes in. I think he's a good fit, not essentially for the money, but it takes a lot of stress off of Randle's back, whereas he doesn't have to look to create plays all the time, for the team. I think RJ Barrett will continue improving. His stats and advanced metrics didn't look the best, but on court with your eyes, you could tell it looks like he was improving, so hopefully that carries over. And looking at their ceiling, I really just hope they make the playoffs. The NBA is always more interesting when the Knicks are good, and the fan base is always good to see when they're actually winning games. So I think that the Knicks will make the playoffs as a ceiling. I don't see them going far beyond the second round, if not the first, but hopefully we see the Knicks around there. Looking at the 76ers now, I think their floor is the play-in. I think they're just too good not to miss it. I mean, we're looking at the best shape James Harden's been in, 2 or 3 seasons. I think Embiid's going to have a great season off of that MVP caliber season last year. And I just think that the conference finals is their ceiling. I think the Harden curse kicks in eventually. Embiid just falls apart. He's just a man made of glass when it comes to the playoffs. And that's not his fault. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to have the help they need to get them over teams like the Celtics, the Bucks, or even the Nets for that matter. Looking at the Toronto Raptors, I think that their floor is the 10 seed. Scotty Barnes had a great season last year, winning Rookie of the Year, and I think he only improves and builds off that. With the help of Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam keeping their health together, I think that their ceiling also stems to the semifinals. They're a team with no big men, and especially with Giannis and Embiid just running the East at this point, I think that their playoff experience will get them to the semis. But they're no team to take lightly. They can definitely be a threat around playoff time and even in the play-in tournament if it comes to that. But I think the Raptors are definitely going to have an interesting year. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next video.